Um, cool. So I've got Cecilia here. So thank you so much for taking the time to have a chat with us and give us your insights. But feel free to just, introduce yourself and give us a bit of an understanding of who you are and what it is that you do.
So I'm Cecelia. I run an architecture practice. When I say run, it's essentially me running it with freelancers that I work with. I do domestic projects mainly. I started about a year and a half ago, and it literally started because I returned to work from having my second child, and I got a job and I thought, right, I'm going to do this because going back to work isn't where I want to be, and I want to run my own practice. So it was kind of a necessary thing, but it came a little bit suddenly, although I knew I was always going to do it. So here's me. I've been doing this for a year and a half now.
Nice. Take me through, I can't remember exactly how long you've been in the program. I think it'd be like a few months, but feel free to just give us like an understanding of where your business was at and why you felt like coming into the program was a good fit.
Yeah, so it's been about 2.5 months I've been in the program. It was basically 2 days before Christmas that I joined. And the reason why I joined and the reason why I came into the program was the way that I started. It was kind of a start, but it isn't by no means where I want to be. And I appreciate that there's lots of things I need to do to get to the right clientele, and doing the work, running a business, improving your reach and communicating your worth and your value. All of those things are just a lot to do on your own when you haven't got guidance. And I am very aware that I like to work efficiently, but to research all of those things by myself is really not that time efficient for me. And how can I get results quickly? Well, if I'm doing everything on my own and learning in my own time and not learning from other people's experiences and knowledge, then that's kind of the opposite of what I want to do. I want to work efficiently and I want to get results. And just the drag of getting too many wrong clients, people not understanding your worth, probably because I'm not explaining my worth, so I'm not getting the right clients, and that drag is really grinding. And I've seen it on lots of people, where they lose their motivation, and I just don't want to do that. I don't want to get to a point where it's like I can't do this anymore. So it was kind of getting to a point where I don't like this, I need almost like an emergency involvement, so that I can enjoy this and get to where I want to be sooner before it wears me down.
Got it.
Yeah.
So in regards to being inside the training program, like what topics of conversation and what subject matters do we cover that you feel like you're gravitating most towards the content? So like what kind of content do you find you enjoying the most in the program, and really like what facets from like how the program's structured do you gravitate towards the most as well?
Well, I think all of the topics I really enjoy. So as a starting point, even though I haven't got through all of them, but I think I really like the idea that you can be quite direct in how you sort of structure your day, and that you need to, one of the things in the first module was about your mind and your focus. Those are things that I've been really wanting to do, but you've been quite direct in how you've kind of communicated that. So, get enough sleep. If you're not sleeping enough, then you're not, performing. If you're not at your optimal thing, then how can you focus? If you're being distracted, there's a lot of things that make a lot of sense, but that are very directly said, so it takes some of it, what in general, how the program's structured. I like that it's somehow taking away some elements of stuff that I need to figure out myself. It's just kind of given, and that doesn't mean that there is lots of exploration and stuff. So it gives lots of space for that, because you've got to work stuff out for yourself. But some things aren't like read this book and work out what your thing is. Some things are just kind of, you give the structure and then you can operate within it. So I have a loose days planner, for example, from before, but I'm really looking forward to actually getting to that bit and just like feeling confident that I'm balancing everything and operating in an optimal way. So I like that, communicating right and just being optimized.
Nice. What
Yeah.
take me through some of the like the biggest aha moment that maybe you've had since being inside the program, and if you feel like a couple come to mind, feel free to share them.
So I've mostly got through module 1 and a little bit of 2, and it's actually a really big topic, especially depending on how much you sort of delve into it. And one of the things that I realized is, whilst I'm quite a high performer, there are things that are holding me back that have been the big struggles, and being able to pinpoint them, and some of them are in my mindset. And so, previously I've been struggling, like getting enough social media posts out and do all of those things, but actually there were barriers in my mind related to those, and how I felt about my work and what I was doing about it, and even like how I was communicating to people. And my prices, they are still lower than I feel they should be, but they have gone up, and I'm communicating about them differently, and I'm learning to communicate in a way that targets their customers' needs. So really, what is your need? And I talk to them just about how my work delivers that. So that is how I talk about my service has definitely improved. I was aware I needed to do those things, but I've been given tools to further improve the way I communicate. And it's always a learning curve, but I'm now earning my project. I upped my project in December. So I'm currently, getting higher fees than I was even before I joined the program.
Yeah, nice. I
Yeah.
mean, wait until you actually get to the offer stuff. But I mean, and I think we've had obviously had a couple of conversations on the group calls, which I think we've covered kind of, where some of the changes have come from. But you've obviously got way more to learn about that, which is going to be exciting.
Yes.
But yeah, like
Yeah.
people underestimate the fact that we are the vehicle of our business, and we have outputs and efficiencies, and
Yeah.
like everything goes into the more focus we can have to problem solve and make smart decisions. Well, that's all the business trajectory is based off, is just good decision making and
Yeah.
solving problems that are always going to arise, I suppose. So yeah, take me through, like you were kind of just shedding some light on it, but the the results from the shifts in thinking and what you've implemented so far. So you've been able to increase like your project fees. Does that mean that you're working more, or does that just mean that you're basically more able to better package what you're already doing and have been doing, just at a better number?
So I think there's the two things that have so I've got higher project value based on the fact that I am communicating that I can give transformations and I can change your life. I can solve your problems. Whereas before I was selling architectural services. Whereas now I'm like, and it wasn't that I was necessarily doing it wrong, because I was still getting to it all right myself. But I, like you say, I haven't even got to the offer bit. This is just from doing the mind section that I've had some improvement, and I haven't even got to the offer. And I'm just changing the way I communicate. The other thing is this, sorry, what was your question?
Yeah, just like the kind of, based on your experience and the thinking and the strategies that you've been through, like this, what the kind of results and impacts that you've seen on the
Yeah.
business.
So on the business and on myself, I think I realized that I'm a doer. And if I hadn't have done the mind, I would have just continued doing and struggling with the hurdles that I struggle with in my mind. So at the moment, I'm working on the engine, and this is kind of like the long game. I've got to work on the engine, get those barriers. Like it's almost like, you've got a bike, you've got a stick in the wheel, and you can keep riding with that stick in the wheel, and it's going to be a struggle. Just sort that out, and then the rest of it is fine. I'm a doer. I love doing. I love all of these strategies and technical things that I'm ways of doing this, and I can't wait to get to them. But I'm realizing that my mind is my barrier. I don't sleep enough, I don't prioritize myself, and I don't rest. My strategy, even though I don't like it, has been to work loads.
Mm.
And I don't agree with that. I am completely aware that that isn't how you do it. You work smart, you optimize yourself, you do the right jobs, you do the high value tasks, you don't just work all hours of the day. And that
Yeah.
is my natural thing to do. And it makes no sense. And going through the things in my mind are like really challenging me, that I've got to deal with. Why do I do that? Why do I, so it's a huge topic, and it's really necessary. I wish I could zoom through it, but I'm feeling as though I've got to, that book,
Psycho-cybernetics. Yeah, it's like,
I'm going through that and the exercises, I'd never, and already I was talking to someone else, my friend of mine, my friend's husband is a psychotherapist, and already he's like, you're talking as if you're familiar with these topics, whereas, 2.5 months ago, I really was not familiar. I knew some things about myself, but people are already saying to me when I'm explaining what's going on in my brain and what, how I'm working, there is a change in me and my awareness of myself, and my awareness of things that are barriers, which I think is really smart. You need to know those things, otherwise you're kind of blindly pedaling and not going anywhere, or it's just harder.
yeah, I think the pedaling analogy is the best. The way that I think about it, and like I say in the first module, like I feel like if you can get the first module right, you don't need the
Yeah,
strategies, because
yeah,
then you've got the energy and the focus to just deal with any problem. You'd
yeah,
eventually figure
yeah,
out everything I'm going to take you through in the rest of the program. But most people, like business and life, I feel like is like a 10,000-mile race where everybody frantically runs towards the finish line. And if you just stop and build a bike, which
yeah,
takes you a few days to do, and it
yeah,
feels, the FOMO of watching other people busy, busy, busy is really
yeah,
hard to deal with. But then you're building a machine that allows you to move at 3 times the speed with a third of the
yeah,
effort.
yeah. I
Most
love
people
that
aren't.
analogy.
Most
It's
people
great.
aren't prepared to stop. And
Yeah, it's
yeah, if you can
challenging
just
because I
stop.
don't
Oh,
like
it's
the
massively.
it's challenging because you want to go, but
Yeah.
I really see the value on it. And going through those exercises like the objectives sheet, I have affirmations and wrong beliefs that if I turn them on the head become positive beliefs and principles, and I'm questioning, why do I believe these things? Where did it come from? Where did it exist from? Like, why do I think there's a ceiling to my success? Why do I not why do I take that sort of attitude from a client? I should just drop that client because it's not worth it. But why do I somehow feel like that's my level? It's not.
Yeah.
So, and unless I just sort of say, well, you're not the right client for me, good luck, then I'd rather spend my time learning about how to communicate my value than to take on a bad client. I'd rather lose that money. In the long run, it's not, that bad client isn't worth it. They're not for me.
Mm.
So it's really about knowing that you've got to invest in yourself and how you communicate and just everything about this vehicle that I am, and the service I'm providing. Yeah, so really enjoying it. It's more than business.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, it is more than business, but you're about to then jump into the next module, which is pure. That's all
Yeah,
it is for the rest. So
yeah,
that's
yeah, and I
coming up.
can't wait. I'm super excited. I wish I was there already, but the one thing
Yeah.
I'm just being
Yeah.
diligent and doing the steps as they come, so that I'm not half doing it and not resolving some of the things. Although everything is work in progress, so nothing's ever going to be perfect, and you've
Well,
got
that's
to
the
try
thing.
it. But
Uh,
yeah,
it's like I mean, as much as we want to get immediate impact, which it seems like it is having in areas, like I care more about where you're at in 10 years, knowing this stuff and applying these kind of things. So yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much, Cecilia, for taking the time to just
right,
voice some thoughts and takeaways. And yeah, we'll chat again soon. But thanks for your time.
yeah, yeah, no worries.